and gentlemen, back again with another Team Wildwater video. It has been a minute, but we'll go over a lot of that stuff later. We are out on Lake Wateree, and we're gonna catch a fish in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, they are absolutely ripping us right here, man. They are pulling so hard. I had one on earlier, had it about 30 feet from the bank and it popped off. We were still trying to get everything set up. We didn't have a net. He was trying to get it on the camera and it was a complete cluster. So yeah, we were still trying to get everything set. We only got 2 rods out, but they're biting hard.
Now we're throwing soybean pack bait, mix of soybean, mix of birdseed with some boilie crumble in there as well. And we're just getting a classic buff bites, man. If you fish Wateree, I mean, you know how it goes out here. Yeah, we'll go over a bit more of like the swim and how we're fishing it probably tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, Brandon did a good job coming out here the night before, got a good bait up going. I think that's what's causing the move in here. One of these is gonna get hooked here soon. Plenty of bites, but we're fishing 18.5 wraps out. Used the deeper a little bit last night to find our spots. It's not completely flat. It's a bit of a downhill grade, but not too steep to where our boilies or our pack bait will be rolling off. I mean, like I said, I will be surprised if we go another 15 minutes without having a fish on the bank. So hopefully we can get something up here while the sun is still out. It is like 6:50. It'll probably be completely dark in 20 minutes. New spot out here, never tried it. We're back at it again. We're ready to hit it hard. We'll go over where we've been, later in the video. We'll get it all covered, but for right now, we're losing daylight. The fish are biting. Like Nate said, we only have 2 rods in the water, so we're gonna try and get this last rod in the water and then see what we can get on the bank.
Let's get it. I couldn't tell, definitely not a catfish. All right, I think I'm gonna walk out because it's pretty shallow right here. I'm trying just to keep them on here. Don't want them to get any sort of slack to work him off that hook. All right, I'm just gonna walk him back a little bit here. Try and walk him into the end of the net. There he is. Come here. Come here. Get over the edge of the net. Come here, buddy. There you go. There he is. All right, as promised, about 10 minutes after Brandon said we were gonna get one, here we are, a little baby. A little feisty getting him in the net, and that's typical for these little small ones. We knew they were in here. We knew they were buffs just from the profile we saw roll earlier and just the way they've been taking the bobbins to the top of our rods there. So yeah, I mean, this is exactly what we came out here expecting to catch, and this is a good start to the trip. I don't think we're only in maybe 2 hours in, and we're already on one fish. So that's a good start.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is 8 o'clock. We woke up at 7. Sunrise was like 7:30. Getting the rods back in the water. Left them overnight. I had 2 decent runs. One on my boilie setup, running a 24 mil boilie, shaved down a bit with a corn topper. Got them up to the bank. Was nothing serious. About the same size as the ones we've been catching. Anyways, he broke me off right at the bank. Water was a little shallow. And just trying to scramble for the net and everything. One of those late night trying to land a fish situations. But he got off, so I'm gonna have to re-rig that rod. And then overnight I had another run that got me stuck in a snag. So that broke off as well, gotta re-rig that one. But we're up, getting the rods back set up. Added some more cream corn to our soybean mix here. We'll go over exactly what all this is a little bit later today. But for right now, main objective is to get all 3 rods back into the water. I currently have 0. But good action still on top of the water. I mean, we're still seeing rolls. It's directly over top of our spot. And that's good. So we're gonna get these bait balls out there, break out the spawn, hopefully spawn at least 2 or 3 pounds over top of each swim. Let them know it's breakfast time. Let's see what we can produce.
perfect morning night going on right now. I did not get too much action last night, although I really wouldn't know because I was sleeping so hard. But man, I could not have asked for a much better start to the morning. I only got a chance to re-rig 2 of my rods before all 3 of them went off. So I had runs on every single one of my rods. I'm hooked up into a common right now, just now seeing it.
All commons.
All commons. Looks like the commons have rolled in. We are officially out of the buffies.
For now.
For now, yeah. They will come back in. They're a dominant species, so whenever they do roll in, they will take over a spot. But yeah, this was kind of crazy. I wasn't exactly expecting this morning, but not going to complain at all. Not a bad one.
Nice. Good big boy.
Good start to the morning. Let's get it. We got 2 fish in the sling right here in the cradle, and yeah, it was just a crazy set of events right there. It just seemed like one after the other. I feel like we just had a group of commons roll in. Not bad. This one's 15. The other one I got here is 16. Both of these were caught on pop-ups. Both of them caught pretty hard. Brandon did a good job helping me out there while all 3 of my rods were going off. We unfortunately lost the other one because we don't have a 3rd man here, so we had to set it back down, lock it up, and it ran into a snag. So that one was unfortunately lost, but these 2 got bagged. So here is the other one, just slightly bigger. It's definitely longer, a bit leaner though. But yeah, really pretty fish. This is a sign of a good spot. We can already tell, just, you know, we've already gotten to 2 different species. Kind of what we were hoping for out here was to get into some buffs, hopefully into some commons as well. We weren't as sure about the commons, but we're gonna get these 2 back and keep fishing.
I've been getting a bunch of nibbles, and morning's been productive. Nate's got 2 on the bank already. I had all running rigs, and we were getting a ton of nibbles, like I was saying, and not a lot of straight runs, not a lot of hookups. And if you're buff fishing, you know how that goes. We're into a bit of commons this morning, so I switched one over to an inline bolt just to see what would happen with that, and here's the result. This is what I was expecting, just to hook up a little quicker on the inline bolt than the running rig. He's tugging me a little bit right now. Feeling Buffy-like, I won't lie. Lively little buff. Peeled it off. I switched to an inline bolt rig, and that resulted in this one. We're getting a ton of bites, and a lot of people like to fish the running rig with when fishing for buffs. That's what we do as well for the most part. But just getting all those nibbles, man, made me want to try the inline, see if we can hook up a little faster. And this one didn't have an opportunity to play with it much. Spinner rig with a 14 mil CC Moore Northern Special pop-up. I believe that we have successfully got them on the boilie in this spot. We threw a lot of boilie crumb, a lot of boilie, mostly 24 mil Proline Peach boilies. And we are still getting bites. Already productive morning, 3 on the bank. And hopefully some more to come. We'll see. All right, guys, fishing a new spot here, so I'm going to break down our strategy of finding where we want to fish and seeing if it's suitable for fishing. So we like to come out and scout the spot. We usually just, we get recommended spots. We find it on Google Maps, just somewhere that we can canoe to. Has room to set up a tent and to set up the pods, obviously. So came out here Thursday night. It was the night before we started the session. Preferably like it be a little bit earlier, but we were a bit pressed for time. But the first thing we want to look for is a natural food source. So we've got all kinds of snail shells and mussels here. That's a great natural food source. It already looks like a good area for carp to naturally be. That's always a good sign, to where you don't have to work too hard to bring the carp in. So then we like to use a deeper. We break out our deeper, throw it out there, get a good scan of the bottom. This spot specifically, it's slightly downhill the whole way. It's just a gradual decline, not too bad. You just want a nice surface to where your pack bait's not gonna be rolling down the hill or your boilies aren't gonna be rolling downhill. Deeper scans look good. We actually saw a good bit of fish on those scans as well. So that just proved again that it was a good spot for the carp or buffalo to naturally be. So then we like to feel the lead down. So we just, on our marker rod, we just put a straight lead on there, throw it out, feel how hard it's hitting the bottom. If you're throwing out that lead and you feel it hit the ground pretty hard, you know you've got a nice solid bottom. And I mean, that's ideal in my eyes. That's what I look for. Then we'll drag the lead across the bottom of the lake. And that way we can feel for snags. We can feel if it's getting caught up in any rocks, if it's getting caught up in any twigs or weeds. So we didn't feel too much, but we do know there's a little bit of snags here after we've been fishing for a little bit. Threw the marker rod out, got the marker float up. Here it was anywhere from maybe 14 to 11 feet. That was the zone we were wanting to fish. The slope wasn't too extreme. And then we made a mixture of bait to throw out. It was just a mix of birdseed, soybean, some canned sweet corn, and some boilie crumb. Mix that all together, and we spread that out in each swim. So it was about 20 pounds total, 10 in my swim, 10 in Nate's swim. So we did that the night before, and with each session, once we get the rods out, we like to spawn over top, probably 3 or 4 pounds of that same mix, and throw out some individual boilies as well, just to keep them guaranteed. So that's what's worked so far. That's what's got the carp in here. They're on the boilie officially as well. We like to get them on the boilie. We like to fish with the boilie because usually it's a bit easier to target those larger fish. We're throwing 24 mil peach flavored Proline boilies. We also have some 20 millimeter pineapple Proline boilies. That's what's been getting the job done. We're also throwing a lot of pop-up boilies. But we're using pack bait, and that pack bait is pretty much a mixture of what we baited up with. So it's mainly soybean, 3 pounds of soybean, got some cream corn, and we mixed in a little bit of birdseed, a little bit of that boilie crumb. And so far it's producing some fish. So we're gonna keep that bait on. And you just gotta stay ready to adapt. So we started off with a few different rigs. I was throwing a spinner rig with pop-up, a corn rig, and I was also throwing a bottom bait rig, which is straight 24 mil. But you see how the carp respond to each of those, and then you just adapt accordingly. So anyways, that's what's been working so far, and we'll see what happens next.
All right, it's like the 3rd time I've been hooked up on this boilie, and I cannot keep it in the water. Every time I throw it out, give it 2 minutes and it's already off, like gone. So they are just wanting it bad. We're not spotting yet. Not that that's not the plan, it's just we have not had an opportunity as we've just been trying to get our rods in the water. Another hour, another fish, it feels like, but this one is a little bit different because now we have a very firm indication of what they are feeding on. As soon as I got this thing in the landing net, just pooped all in it and it was all red. I thought it was blood for a minute. I was trying to figure out where it was coming from, but it was just those boilies that we have them on. It was those peach Proline boilies. I had it straight 24 mil on a blowback rig, straight on the bottom, and he sucked it up. You can see mouth right there is capable of getting him. These wild carp can grow to some big sizes. Yeah, it's good news. When we got them on the boilie, that means just our bait up worked and they're hungry. So we're gonna keep feeding.
Okay guys, finally hooked in. Again, spinner rig, 15 mil pop-up, 14 mil pop-up, one of those. Can't remember if this is my Dairy Supreme or just my Northern Special. We'll see. Yes, just a size 4 quarter crank on a spinner. Sorry if the audio is a little off. We thought we had a little lull in the bite to charge up the mics. But the unexpected afternoon bite, very welcome. It's 11:45. Gonna try and get some lunch going when we can, but it has been a constant bite since we threw the rod there. All right, here is the result. Size 4 quarter crank on a spinner rig, has a 14 mil Dairy Supreme CC More pop-up on there. This one was the hardest fighting one of the day so far for me, especially. I mean, he's still in that 15-pound range, maybe a little less, but this one definitely had some fight in him. Pulled some drag. It had some good bend in my rod when I first set the hook. It's coming up on lunchtime. It's almost 12 o'clock. They've been biting nonstop, man. So we're in some carp. Our baiting campaign has worked, like Nate was saying earlier. This one also, you can see some red boilies just coming out. So they're officially on the boilies. So I might switch 2 of my rigs over to just bottom bait 24 mils. Try and target the biggest fish we can. I'll keep one with this 15 mil spinner rig pop up because it's been producing fish. The buffs seem to move out. So it was pretty much an all common morning. Last night was an all buff night. So we'll see if that repeats itself. I'll be interested to see if the buffs come back later this evening. Maybe the buffs feed in the evening more in this spot and the commons feed more in the morning. But beautiful common, pristine commons. And we're gonna get this guy back and hopefully get a little bit of a lull in the bite to get some food. All right, guys, I know you were wondering, where has Team Wildwater been? And I mean, I guess there's just life happened, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I had a child, so I'm a father now, so there is that. So it's just a lot harder to find time to do things like this. And
yep, indeed. Like Nate said, he's got a kid and a wife, and obviously that'll make you pretty busy. I've just been busy with work and stuff. You know, I do marketing and videography and stuff professionally now, but I've just got a lot more time. My schedule's opened up, so is Nate's. Seems like the perfect time to hop back on YouTube. Not making any big promises. We're hoping to get 1 good fishing video a month. It takes some time to edit these things. Obviously, it takes a whole weekend to get out here and shoot a good video. But yeah, we're just excited to get some good high quality videos for you guys. Again, it'll probably be around once a month for the fishing videos. We might try and get some tutorials in each month as well. Let us know in the comments what you want to see.
we just want to know. I mean, do you want to see more of the fishing videos, tutorials? Want to see more of what we're doing out here, like in between the time? I mean, just let us know that, and we can figure that out for y'all. We can get it on the camera.
Yep, give us some good feedback, but we'll be active on the socials. Send us some messages if you got any questions. We're going to try and keep the videos going. And we've got a very small amount of hats left if you're interested in getting one of those. We'll probably get some new stuff this year, but we're gonna try and stay consistent, 1 to 2 videos a month, and do our best for you guys. Anyways, we are gonna keep prepping up for this evening session, and I'm excited to see what these bottom bait boilie rigs will produce. So, stay tuned.
All right, guys, I just wanted to show you guys what we have been using out here. It's been very effective. It's this bottom bait boilie setup. So piece by piece, we have a 6.5-inch hook length section here. This is from Gardner Disruption. I just have it stripped at the bottom here. All that does is just give the hook a bit more free movement to flip into the carp's mouth a bit better. I have a Corda anti-tangle sleeve here, and that is just to kick the whole rig away from the lead whenever it hits the bottom. I have a tiny piece of shrink tubing here. All that does is give the hook a better angle. That's gonna flip into the carp's mouth easier as well. The hook I'm using is a Corda Curve Shank XX. I have a tiny piece of rig tubing here. All that does is help the boilie stay at the correct angle and in the correct position on the hook. And then I have an 1.5 inch hair, and that seems to be a perfect amount for this size boilie. All right, morning of day 3, technically. Had a pretty long night. It was pretty rough. Was good in a way. We had all 5 of our rods out. I mean, I only had 2, like I said, and one of mine snapped. So we ended up catching fish on all 5 of our rods, but it was within a span of about 2 hours. So there was a good section of the night there where we were just up and out of the tent, and it was cold and it was kind of rough, but we managed. We decided to keep our rods out for about the last 3.5 hours so we could just get some sleep and hit it hard this morning. So far, Brandon has just got into a snag. He pulled a whole log up, had a cinder block attached to it. Unfortunate. Feel like he's been in the snags all week. Still been able to land fish, which is good, but it's never fun fishing snags. Just when you lose rigs and everything, it just causes more work, and especially when we're out filming, it just makes it harder. I'm just waiting for that first fish of the morning. The fish we caught last night were the same old ones we've been catching, about 15 pounds. I think we caught a catfish as well, but all the commons were in that same range, about 15 pounds. All in all, pretty good night fishing. All right, we just saw another rollover spot. They are definitely rolling out here this morning, still feeding. All right, so stay tuned while we finish up this last little session we got here of this trip.
Guys, here we are, last morning session, and we've been getting a ton of buff bites this morning. It's been switching back and forth between buffs and commons in the swim. It seems like this morning's predominantly buffs. We're just getting a lot of those classic buff bites, but this one got hooked. The morning has been productive with all these buff bites. There's still fish rolling. A little bit of wind has picked up. This is a greedy little buff. He tried to get I'm just fishing a 24 millimeter bottom bait boilie. I don't even know if his mouth could eat that. But he certainly tried. Hooked him right in the bottom lip with that quarter crank, size 4. But the buffs are biting. I'm gonna get this guy back. And as long as they're biting, we're gonna keep the rods out, we're gonna keep the bait on them. Nice.
All right, finally got one off that rod after being out there 2 or 3 times casting out, setting the hook, being hooked in, and then missing the fish. So good to finally get the reward. Yeah, it was the same setup. It was with that 24 millimeter Proline pop-up with a American Carp Society corn topper soaked in Scopex from Proline as well. So awesome little fish, and excited to have him. We're really excited to be back out here on the bank this weekend. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. That all goes to support us. We're gonna try and put some more videos out here soon and keep them coming to you guys as we can. So let us know what you want to see, and we'll be back out here shortly. Thanks for watching. See y'all later.